Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Raya. If you're returning, hi, I missed you. We are in a new location. I don't like how I said location. We are in a new location. If you can't tell, this room used to be the guest bedroom and it had like a bed frame, standing closet, nightstand, and like a vanity desk area. My husband, on his day off, he switched my basement beauty room area into the guest room because I just like light. Like, I need light and I need to see that it's bright outside or else I start getting all depressed. So he switched the rooms and I'm so happy. Like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. Like, he's such an amazing husband. So this is the new beauty room. It is not done yet. Obviously, I don't even have my purses. I have packages I haven't even opened. There's nothing on this side of the room. And the monstrosity of this entire room is this orange fan. It's just not, it's not going to stay is what it's not going to do. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I posted about doing a Q&A and there are way more questions than I had expected. I'm not going to lie. I've got my coffee. I also just posted a spend a week with me, like right before I filmed this. I finally uploaded it and I am not going to lie, I'm not happy with that video, but I didn't want to waste all the footage and like delay me getting started on here anyways. I like didn't have makeup on most of the video, but at the same time, it was a really real and realistic week in my life. So I'm going to try and answer these like in topic, if that makes sense. Like if they're about my relationship, I'll keep them in that topic. If they're about social media, keeping that topic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so the first question, do you think you'll always live in Colorado? And the answer to that is no. I know for a fact I will not. Actually, I don't know. I mean, if God wants me here, then I will be here, but I just know that I am definitely someone that I want to experience the world. I want to live multiple places. Definitely do not want to have a kid in America. That's the last thing that I want to do. My husband agrees, like we want to have a kid in a whole different country. Why did you move out of Texas? A year before I decided to move, I had left an engagement, like high school sweetheart kind of thing, 15 to 22. I ended up breaking it off and it just was not the best thing afterwards. And then I ended up moving back home with my family in a neighborhood that I grew up in that just had so much trauma. I'm from Austin, Texas, born and raised, and Austin is really expensive. It's literally the new LA. So being like 20 minutes away from trauma on one side of Texas and then trauma on another side of Texas, and then trying to be someone new and shed like the old self that everyone else was used to knowing, like the old Araya, it's hard to do when you're constantly surrounded by it. I had already started looking for places to move. And then I ended up meeting my husband. Before me and him started talking, I had already started talking about like even to my mom, I was like, I want to move away. And Colorado was on that list. My family was supposed to move to Colorado before I was born. When I was 14 or 15, me and my mom were supposed to move to Colorado. My ex and his family all loved Colorado, like wanted to visit so bad. It was always like a destination place to go to and it never ended up happening. And then it was just me and it was up to me. And I was like, you know what? I want to leave. And I was so scared to bring it up to my mom and my grandpa because like they were my family and I spent every day with them. And once I told my mom that, the first thing that she said was, get out of Texas. Like, please leave. You need to leave. You aren't going to grow if you stay here. And they had supported me so much, which made it a lot easier to leave Texas. And then they even drove down here to move me into my first apartment. That's kind of like what made me move, was just the timing was right. I had the means to do so. I ended up meeting someone I would visit here, which helped a lot, getting to experience Colorado before deciding to move here. And everything just like aligned. Okay, I'm going to do some relationship ones. How many boyfriends have you had? I had a boyfriend when I was like 14. That is a whole, like, that is trauma in its own. I don't even want to count that one. And then I had my boyfriend, which turned into fiance, the one that I was talking about that I ended up leaving. And then my now husband. So I want to say 2, but 3. How did you know your husband was the one? Let me take a sip. My husband, when we first met, it was like an instant just, we could not stop smiling. I'll kind of explain like how we met. So, oh my gosh, wait, that's one of the questions. How did you and your husband meet? Okay. So I was in my era of like hating men. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I hated men. I wanted nothing to do with them. The only dudes that I talked to were like 3 friends at the gym that I would go to, and they all worked there. So they worked at the front. I would always talk to them. But like, if it came down to like a guy in general, if they came up to me, I was mad. Like, my guard was up. I instantly was just annoyed and irritated. I was like, how dare you even talk to me? Like, I want nothing to do with you. And I was just in this era of like, I'm going to be single for a long time. Like, I don't ever want to date again. I am so tired of men. Like, that's just where my headspace was at. I was scrolling TikTok one day at home, and then I see this random dude on TikTok live. I know, whatever. And he was dancing to random music with like disco lights in his room on Cinco de Mayo. I thought he was cute, okay? But I was like, this is a vibe. And then his first reaction to me, because my name on TikTok is Mulan, he was like, Mulan? Damn. That was his first reaction to me. And yeah, I started blushing a little bit. So I was like, what do you mean by that? What kept me there, he called out to his dog, and his dog's name is Kenai. My dog's name is Kenai. So when he said that, I was like, okay, forget about you. Like, you have a dog named Kenai? What does your dog look like? And he brings in his dog. And then he ends up telling me, he's like, I need to see a picture of your Kenai. And in the moment, I was like freaking out because I've never met another dog named Kenai. But he ended up admitting that he used that as leverage to start talking to me and get my number. Here we are, we're married now. So, okay, how did I know that he was the one? From the moment that we started talking like one-on-one, it was butterflies. It was no bad feelings. He wasn't overstepping. We like had a real conversation. We were sending voice notes. We were like asking each other real questions. Like, it wasn't that frustrating and just like pointless, like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What are your hobbies? It was like, what kind of books do you like reading? And then talking about the sunset and how beautiful it is, and talking about like our phobias. Like he actually was having a conversation with me, and then we just started sharing voice notes. And our very first FaceTime, it came really quickly. And I've always been one of those people that's like, you need to be friends first before you start dating. Sometimes that's not always the case, because the love of my life, like the one that I wholeheartedly believe God sent to me, was like, you just knew right away. Like, I knew that this person I could trust. I knew that he liked me for me and wanted to get to know me, especially because we were long distance for so long. So when he would show up for me, it was for me. It wasn't to try and get something out of me. It wasn't for my body. It wasn't for any type of physical contact or anything like that. It was like the only option he had was to have a conversation with me. And he showed up every single day throughout the day. And then our first FaceTime call, I actually have it screen recorded because I was like, this is crazy. And he starts playing guitar for me. And in that moment, I caught myself falling for him and just starting to like him. And like, my guard was down and I got scared. Like, I literally got scared. But I looked up at him. He was smiling because he caught me like just dozing off. He caught me go somewhere. It's like all of that fear just went away. And it was just like, I was in the moment. I was smiling with him. We've been together for a while. And obviously we've had like our issues. We've had our fights. We have almost broken up. But every time we have an issue, we give it to God. And then we fight it together. We're not fighting each other. And I've never had that before. I've never had someone fight for me and with me. I have also never had someone not make me feel guilty for saying no. That is a big deal. And if you understand that, then you understand that. He is the first man to ever respect me when I say no. And when I don't want to do something, he does not make me feel bad. That was the biggest sign for me, because unfortunately that's hard to find these days. Is marriage fun? Marriage is so fun. I have always known that I was someone that I wanted to be married. I want to be a mom. I want to have kids. And I wanted to be a wife. I had no idea this is how it was going to happen. But it is one of the biggest blessings that I think I've ever experienced, and one of the best gifts. And I want to be around my husband all the time. Like, I love my husband. I get excited when I hear him home from work. When we get into bed, I need him next to me. When I'm cooking, I want to be able to see him in the living room. Like, whenever something happens, he's the first person I run to tell, whether it's good or bad. If I'm scared about something, I don't have anxiety going to him about it, because I know that he knows how to be there for me and he understands me. Oh, also, I am his first real relationship. It's exciting to see him experience love with me. You know what I mean? Like, his first. I get to experience so many of his firsts with him, and it's a blessing. I love it. I think marriage is really fun when you're with the right person. For me personally, I give it to God and I trust God, and I asked God if this was the right move. And when the enemy tried to prevent us from getting married, God showed us why this was his plan. So I'm very, very confident with God's timing. Do you think that you got married young? That kind of trickles into like what I just said. I trusted God. I literally let God lead this entire relationship. And no, I don't think that I got married young, because being married and being a wife, especially being a wife to my husband, is part of my calling. How did you and your husband handle long distance? We would FaceTime every single day. We would text throughout the day. We would still have like our own personal lives, which was very healthy. And we would have dates, like full on movie dates. So we would go on Google Meet, basically stream a movie from like a streaming platform onto the Google Meet screen, while me and my husband were like video chatting on the side. So we get to watch the movie in real time together. And then we would also get like the same food from the same place, or get food from the same place. Like, we would have Panera one time, we would get pizza, like a coffee night. Like, we would date each other still through long distance, and it's not hard to do. We would also take turns visiting each other, like in Texas and Colorado, so that was very fun. Something that we made a rule is we will not allow each other to go to sleep angry with each other, or just angry in general. And we still have not a day has gone by where that's happened. And he did this on his own, but since the day that we started talking seriously, he has not gone one single day in roughly over 2 years telling me that he thinks I'm amazing. He doesn't do it to get the same thing back. He doesn't do it for anything. He cannot rest unless he tells me that he thinks I'm amazing. The effort from both sides is there, and making long distance work requires a lot of it. It requires a lot of effort and clear communication and understanding from both sides and maturity. Do you have kids, or do you want any? No, I don't have any human children. I have fur children. And do I want kids? Yes. I know for a fact, if God's willing, oh my gosh, please, I want a daughter. And I say that because my mom raised me. Just remembering all of our mother-daughter dates, it's like one of the best memories of my childhood, and I want to give that to my daughter. If we have a son, I'm going to love that son just as much. I just know that I've always wanted a daughter. What is your love language? My love language, it's either gift giving or acts of service. I love giving people gifts, especially coming from no money and being able to get into a spot of financial stability. Being able to afford gifts for people that they can't buy for themselves, it makes me really happy just seeing their faces light up. And then also acts of service. So like, one of the best things that my husband could do for me is do the housework, like clean, allow me to just rest and relax and just have like a clean home or just clean environment. That's like what gets me thriving, is cleanliness and just not having to do everything myself. Okay, I'm gonna go into some more like social media related questions. How are you not shy to post? When it comes to posting on social media, I've always wanted to be a influencer or content creator. When I was a kid, my dream job was a YouTuber. It's just something that's always like made me happy. So when I post anything, whether it's on TikTok, Instagram, or Snapchat, or YouTube, I'm not posting for someone else. I'm posting because it makes me happy. And I think a lot of people get shy to post because their mind is focused on what other people are going to think or feel towards what they post. I just enjoy it. And I think that's the biggest reason, is like, I'm not shy to do something that I love. And a lot of people get stuck in worrying about what other people are going to think about them or like say about them. In all honesty, you cannot control whether or not that happens. So you just have to deal with it. You have to learn to accept that. Like, I'll post some things on TikTok and I'll get hate comments, but those hate comments compared to this, I don't mean this to sound any type of way, but that one hate comment compared to 252,000 supporters, that doesn't mean anything. So you cannot build support if you're only letting the haters dictate your next move. How do you deal with hate comments? Oh, I kind of just answered that. Yeah, like a hate comment to me is nothing. A hate comment to me is not a big deal because it's coming from someone who I'm aware of either does not enjoy their life, is very, very bored, thrives off of getting attention by trolling people, or they're jealous. So being able to know all of that and accept that contributes to not really caring about it. What's your favorite type of content to film? My favorite type of content to film is ASMR aesthetic vlogs, like short ones for TikTok, or sit down videos like this for YouTube. What is your least favorite and favorite thing about being an influencer? I would say my least favorite is something that has come with being an influencer or just content creator in general. I cannot leisurely be on any electronic device anymore unless it's like a TV. Like if I'm watching TV, which I never used to do before, but now I do because like it's the only type of thing that will make me not work, or only type of screen that will make me not work. But yeah, if I'm on my phone, I cannot get out of the work headspace because work is always coming up. Like if I am on my phone, I just got a notification from my agency from work. Like that's what I mean. Like I cannot be on my phone or my laptop or computer without work being like shoved into my face. When beforehand, I could brain rot. Like I could rot in bed. I could relax from a long day by just going on my phone and doing something. And I don't have that anymore. So that's one thing that does kind of like, it happened. My favorite thing is the time freedom because I've been able to actually like be my own boss and create my own schedule sometimes, even though I say that, but my days are full of just like tasks that I have to do. And then another thing is like having a platform to be able to share my passion and influence others and inspire others who want to do the same thing and teach others who want to get started in like TikTok shop or something. So just being able to have a platform that allows me to do that, that'd be my favorite thing. Do you like TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube more? Honestly, I like YouTube more. Like YouTube has always been my goal and like what I wanted to do. Like I said, when I was a kid, it was my dream job. TikTok is what took off for me and is what is like my job. So I always prioritize TikTok right now because that is what is paying the bills. And that's like all of my brand deals, all of the collabs that I do, like all of that is through TikTok. So that one has to be prioritized. Instagram is more personal for me and like I can just share my life and share what I want to share when I want to share it. But yeah, YouTube would be my favorite. If you weren't doing social media, what would you do or want to do? This is a good question. I think about this a lot. I would want to be like a coach or something, or like a mentor for people who wanted to do social media. So like social media management, like I feel like I could do that really well. Or honestly, a stay-at-home mom or wife. Like I'll be honest, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. Are you introverted or extroverted being an influencer? I don't know. I think I'm an introverted extrovert because if I am like, there is one hair that is just so long. Do y'all see that? And it's like sticking straight up. If I'm in public, I could look like I'm having the worst day possible and my face will be so just not there. I'm not in the conversation. But the second someone talks to me, like I light up because I do like talking to people. If someone's talking to me, like unless they come at me disrespectfully, then I'm super happy to talk to someone because I never know if someone's going through something bad and I could be their last interaction. And I always try and remember that when I'm talking to someone, even if it's like a total stranger or if it's just someone at a drive-thru really quick. You never know if you're the last person that someone talks to and you could change everything for them. So when it comes to talking to people randomly, I enjoy it, genuinely. But if no one talks to me throughout the entire day, I think I'd be fine. Okay, I also got a couple questions regarding like Christianity and just like God. So I put those into a topic too. So I want to answer those. Okay, so this one I thought was funny. It says, "What made you become feminine and soft? I knew you when you were ghetto and hated men." The biggest thing that made me become more feminine and more soft is a mix of becoming a Christian and wanting to become a woman of God, and my husband, how my husband treated me. Just like the way he would react to me, how he would allow me to be a brat sometimes, but also still be like a baby, but still respect me as a woman. Like my guard went down because beforehand, like before my husband, I had to have it together all the time. I had to take care of all the bills and organizing everything. I had to take care of cleaning and cooking, changing my own tire and doing the trash, feeding our dogs, doing like dirty work while still trying to be a partner. So I had always been in that mindset of like, I can do it myself because I have to. And my husband allowed me to relax. Like he will literally threaten me sometimes and say, I won't talk to you until you rest. Or like if you try and move anything, I'm going to ignore you for an hour. Like he will put me in a position that he knows I will listen to because I don't want to like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm saying. He just knows how to deal with me, which has allowed me to become a version of me that I've never met before. And it's amazing. Why did you stop cussing? Because of God. I learned that cussing separates you from God, and that's the last thing that I want. So giving up cussing was really easy because of that. Do you regret your tattoos? I don't regret them, but I do feel like I've outgrown them, if that makes sense. So like, we'll forever think tattoos are beautiful. They're an art form when they're like, not just dumb in general. I'll look at my tattoos and I'll just remember memories, or I'll look at tattoos and I'll like this is Kaizen, which is, it's Japanese. It stands for become 1% better every single day. It's the philosophy of change. So like sometimes I'll see stuff like that on me and I'll be like, I got that for a reason and I love that. But I will say this entire arm of my tattoos literally done by my ex. I'll just keep it real. And so sometimes I'll look at that, like look at tattoos on this arm and I'll be like, I was so young and dumb. And now I wouldn't get those tattoos, but I can look back and just remember like I was someone else. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say I regret them, but I definitely have outgrown them. And that is something that is a weird feeling. How do you deal with comparison? I'll be so real with you. I still struggle with this. And being on camera as your job every day, you're looking at yourself way more than the average person does. And you're compared to a lot of different people who are in the same field as you. So it is really hard. And it's even harder when like I've already struggled with that before I became an influencer. So this is something I'm still dealing with. I just try and remember that we're all made for a certain reason and that the people in my life love me for me, not because I'm like either similar from someone or different from someone. It's just I try and remember that I'm who I am. I can only control who I am. And God made me the way that he did. And I need to learn to love that. I still struggle with it every day though. How do you stay Christian while being an influencer? That is a good question. It is really easy to get lost in the world, especially when your job is social media, because social media can be very evil. I kind of clean my social media to be Christian content or Christian creators that I follow, or just I have very good discernment. So if there's something going on my social media or just in like my agency or in the field of work I'm in, collaborating with other brands or creators, if it does not feel like it is something that will glorify the Lord or if it will deliberately go against him, then it's an easy no. And I am not desperate for a check being an influencer. So if it does not feel aligned with my path with God, I just won't do it. When did you stop being lukewarm as a Christian? Ooh, I can literally remember like the time. It was, I want to say August of 2024. This might be a little bit more adult, but I was living in sexual immorality. Me and my husband were, because we were not married, but we were like living together. We were sexual immorality. And I just got such heavy conviction. And I was like, if I'm going to follow some ways of God and try and be like Jesus, I need to go all the way in. And so does my husband, if that's the man that I'm going to marry. It was like from there, just progressively more and more, I was realizing I was lukewarm and just kind of correcting things, like waiting till marriage fully, stop cussing. My husband and I, when we were just engaged, we even started living separately from each other after moving into an apartment with each other, which it sucked so bad. but it was the right thing to do because it brought our relationship closer, which makes sense why God did that, because like it's for us, it's not against us. And yeah, so around August 2024, that's when I started doing it. That's when I started getting convicted and just more and more trying to be like Jesus. Someone said, do you ever sin? Yes, obviously. We sin every single day. It can be as quick as like a thought that we have. Every single morning is a new morning with Jesus, and trying to just be like him, living like him, and thinking like him, talking like him, like everything, like every single day, just trying to be more like Jesus. That is the goal. I don't dwell on a sin because that is what the enemy wants. But we sin every single day, me and you. What made you believe in God all of a sudden? Oh, I need to take a sip for this because this is a long one. My family is not people who believe in God. Like, they're not very big. They're not believers. So I grew up naturally not being a believer. But we would go to like a Catholic church every now and then because sometimes we would go. I don't want to get into that story. But it depended on like who was in our life at the time. So it was very like circumstantial, which I don't like. But I would experience churches. I've experienced like Hinduism. I've experienced Buddhism. I've experienced Christianity. I've experienced like Catholic churches and stuff. I've experienced atheism. I've experienced being agnostic. I've experienced being like all about science. I've had a very wide variety of like religious experiences or just perspectives. When I was 16, I started going to church with my ex and his family. It was nice and it was refreshing. And it became like a very consistent thing. Like every Sunday we would go to church. But I will say, I think it was that church and just the family that I had to idolize that kind of pushed me away from the idea of Christianity. And it was people, it wasn't God. So I was young and I was of the world, and I didn't understand that like God is not people. God is not the church that we go to physically. Like God is like his own. God is just, like literally God is just. But I let people dictate my understanding of it, and it pushed me away. So I became Buddhist around like 21, and I was Buddhist for a long time. And Buddhism isn't necessarily a religion, it's more of like a way of living. So I was just being a nice person. I still, to this day, I can't kill an animal or an insect. Like, I genuinely feel so heartbroken if I do that. And that was something that has stuck with me with Buddhism. It's not because it was like of Buddhism, but it was because just everything is a living creature and God created everything. And I'm like, if there's so many spiders in this house, I'll just be so honest with you, because I cannot get myself to kill them, and neither can my husband. Like, they're not harming us and we're not going to harm them. In the time where I was in my I hate men era, my heart was so cold. Like, I had no remorse for honestly anyone. I didn't care if anyone's feelings were hurt. I didn't care if my feelings were hurt. I like literally turned off my feelings. Like, nothing made me upset. Nothing made me feel bad anymore. I was so stuck in the like, oh, whatever. It is what it is. Like, there were so many moments during that time where I had literally felt like my heart got punched, or like I got stabbed in the back. And the second that I felt that, I would just turn it off. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to feel that. I don't want to feel that. It was just so not me. I even became weird to touch. Like, my mom and my best friend at the time couldn't even hug me, which was so not me, I just remember like meeting people along the way, like during that time period. Every single one of them made me feel like happy and like light, and I was having emotion again. But all of them were Christian, and all of them we're talking about Jesus and God and all this stuff that I didn't understand at the time. It's like God was throwing seeds at me, but through people that made me feel something again. And I was just running from him, like constantly running from him. For so long, I was running from God. And then meet my husband. He asked me the question, like, do you believe in God? And I was like, I'm Buddhist. Is that like an issue with you? And he is legitimately the first Christian or just believer of Christ that didn't make me feel bad for saying that. It was like, I said, no, I'm Buddhist. And I was like, is that an issue? He said, no. And in the moment, it was. He just didn't say anything to me because he was trusting God that if I was the one for him, God would work in me, not him. That it wasn't his job. It was his job to plant seed, right? So that was my first experience with someone not guilt tripping me into being Christian or into believing God. And I think that opened my heart a little bit. Seeing what like a man of God or just a person of Christ was like that one really like sent me spiraling, because it's like after that, my heart opened a little bit and God was like rushing in. God was like, I am going to save you. God did not give up on me. He was not going to give up on me. And there were some moments where I was like really low. I was ready to just like leave the earth on my own. And God didn't let me. And I know it was him too. And the very official moment that I was like, I believed was, it was one of those nights. I was having a horrible night. I wanted to leave the earth. I was so just brokenhearted. And just God kept coming to my mind. It was like really late at night. I think it was like 12 to 2 in the morning, like midnight to 2 in the morning, between that time. No power. Like there was no power along like the entire neighborhood. And I believe the grid, yeah, there was no power for like a few hours so far. So I was just completely alone with my thoughts. I couldn't run away from them and be on my phone or just talk to someone else and be distracted. Like I had to sit there with my thoughts and with all the pain that I've been hiding. And so I started praying. I was literally just like, God, if you're real, I want to believe you. But I need a sign. I just need one sign. If not, then that's it. You know, right before I finished praying, I was like, please just give me one more sign. And before I could even finish saying the word sign, all the power came back on. It was just like the craziest thing I've ever experienced. And some people that still refuse to believe would be like, your power came back on, whatever. I used to be like that, but I cannot explain to you that when you have your moment with God where he shows up to you for the first time, you will not be able to ignore it and you will not be able to deny him. It's insane. I can't even explain it. And it wasn't like the scary feeling. It was like the moment that it happened, I just got overwhelmed with this peace that everything was going to be okay for the rest of my life. Like as long as I follow him, everything will be okay. I'm going to cry. After that, it was like my face was in shock. Like I could not move, but my eyes were pouring out tears. It was just so, it was so surreal. And I think about that moment all the time, because that I think was the moment that I experienced the Lord so closely and so vividly that I miss it. Like I miss that moment so much. Anyways, that is what made me believe in God all of a sudden. The rest of these questions are just kind of random ones that I just wanted to answer. So the first one was, are you Latina? I am not. I've actually gotten asked that a lot. A lot of people used to think I was Latina or Hispanic. Some people still do, especially when I lived where I used to live, because it's like full just Mexican, Hispanic, and Black people. Like I was one of 2 or 3 Asians out of the entire school. But no, I am not. I am Asian and white. What is your favorite perfume? My favorite perfume at the moment is actually a Victoria's Secret body spray. So this is my favorite spray. As you can tell, it's very loved. It's the Coconut Milk Rose. It's a hair and body mist, but it just smells so yummy. Current favorite hairstyle, nail style, and makeup style. Excuse me. Well, I mean, I kind of can just show you. My current favorite hairstyle is just straight hair because it's simple, it's easy. I am trying to grow out my hair, so when my hair is straight, I can see the length, and it's like encouraging to me. Current favorite nail style would be either a nice set of Frenchies, like almond Frenchies, or these. I do my nails myself, so yeah, these are just 3 shades of OPI put in a neutral, and I'm currently very hooked on these nails. And then favorite makeup style is just what I'm wearing. It's BB cream, blush, a little bit of contour stain, and false eyelashes, and lip stain. That's it. Purse essentials. Ooh, I don't have my purse with me, but I can name it. I always have Altoids. I have eyelash glue and tweezers just in case one of my lashes falls off. I have a lip oil and a lip balm. I have my wallet, my keys, but I always have that stuff in my bag. Do you have a lot of friends? I actually don't. I have a lot of like acquaintances and friends and stuff, but when it comes to like really close friends, my circle is very small. Like if it's people that I'm not related to, they are not my husband's family, and they're just strictly people that I met organically and I consider a friend. I would say 4 or 5 people that I actually like see in real life and consider close to me. Do you miss high school? Heck no. I know a lot of people say like high school is your prime years. Not for me. That wasn't me. I would never go back to high school. I could not stand high school. So glad to get out of it. Granted, I didn't experience a normal high school experience. I went to like a private self-paced high school, but still even then, no. That's my neighbor's dog. He's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna try and talk over his barking. Hopefully you can hear me. Do you have any pet peeves? Oof. Yes, I have a lot of pet peeves. The biggest one, because I don't want to name them all, but like the biggest one or like biggest few are people who are rude to others for absolutely no reason. That is one of the most disgusting things to me. Like if I am out with someone and they're like, don't hold the door for someone behind them, or don't say thank you to the person that's talking to them or servicing them, or just say we're like out to eat and you're not nice to the waiter or waitress, I am immediately disgusted and just like turned off from your personality, because it is not hard to be nice to someone. Even if you're having the worst day, it is not hard to be nice to someone. Trust me, I don't care what anybody says. There have been days where I have had the worst day imaginable, you cannot even believe, and I will still make sure someone else feels appreciated, taken into consideration, because that's what you're supposed to do. Another pet peeve is arrogance or hypocrisy. Like if someone's being a hypocrite or that's just part of who they are, I will try and distance myself, because I grew up with that and it's just something that I cannot deal with. Favorite movie? Okay, in order: Spirited Away, Coraline, and Howl's Moving Castle. Do you have any bad habits? I for sure do. That I'm aware of and can admit. Oh, I bite my nails. I suck at biting my nails. Like ever since I was a kid, if I ever had anxiety or was nervous or stressed or focused on something, my nails are getting obliterated. Another bad habit is I'm very, very mean to myself sometimes. Then even my husband has to catch me. And then another habit is I don't know when to rest. And I used to get mad at like my grandma and my mom for doing this, for like just refusing to rest when they needed to and making it hard on themselves. I now do that, and I know that it frustrates my husband and it frustrates me. So that's something that I have a bad habit with. Okay, this is the last question. It is, what is your name from? Which I thought was a cool question. So my dad actually chose my name, and my parents were metalheads. So my first name, Araya, is from the band Slayer. I think it's the lead singer or guitarist, Tom Araya. That's my name. And then my middle name is from my great aunt, Marie. I am half white. And then my last name is my dad's last name. That is all the questions. I had a lot of fun answering them, and I hope maybe you feel like you know me a little bit better now. If you want to join the next round of questions or Q&A, go follow my Instagram, because that's where I'll be asking that. And if you want to see my other socials, they'll be down in the description. I will see you guys next week in my next video, whatever it'll be. But yeah, thank you guys. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a good day.